Hi there! This is the all-new Nothing Phone 4a, and I think they fixed everything that I personally didn't like on the Nothing Phone 3a. Yes, we have both the phones with us. Let's start with the controversial one, the design. Now, though design is always subjective, I didn't find this one too pleasing. The camera sat a little too low for my preference. The placement looks just perfect on the 4a. Then the new glyph lights on the 4a are a little more subtle and not in your face like the 3a. There are some more upgrades as well, but not everything is hunky-dory. There are some things I feel deserved an upgrade. Don't worry, we'll talk about everything in detail, what's the saving grace and what went downhill, so you can ultimately decide if you should buy the Nothing Phone 4a or not. Now, if you want to know what came inside the box, we've actually already done an unboxing YouTube short. I'll share the link of that in the description. Alright, let's talk about the build and design. So it's very familiar to the previous 3a. Glass back with Panda glass protection. It's glossy but comes with this anti-fingerprint coating, so it remains super clean. We have the white color, and this time along with the black there's also pink and blue, something you can check out. The design of the back definitely feels more refined than its predecessor. The glyph lights this time are on the side with a red LED light below that turns on during video recording. The side frame is plastic, matte finish and soft to touch. It's 8.5 mm thin and weighs over 200 grams, 204 to be precise. It's clearly not the lightest or the thinnest phone out there, but for sure it feels a lot more ergonomic in the hand. The camera setup is exactly like its predecessor, two 50 megapixel sensors, wide and telephoto, and an 8 megapixel ultra wide. On one side is the essential key, on the other side are the volume rockers and the power standby button. So the button placement is also slightly different compared to the 3a. Now the volume and power button are on one side. Previously we had the volume and the power button on other sides. I think this is the right way to go. By the way, all these buttons are made of aluminium metal. At the bottom is a down-firing speaker, USB-C port, microphone and a SIM tray that can house dual 5G nano SIM cards. There is no support for SD card storage expansion. Before we move further, a quick reminder to subscribe to this channel for more fun content like this. It's that subscribe button below, press it right now. Done? Alright, let's talk about the cameras. So here are some shots taken from the rear 50 megapixel wide sensor, and they're quite decent. There's no over-processing done here, it's clean, bright and detailed. You can choose some preset filters directly from the camera app. Thanks to the telephoto, you can shoot 3.5x optical zoom, 7x lossless zoom, and the results are pretty good. Of course, you can zoom in further up to 70x, but then AI takes over, which can be hit or miss. Portraits too are a tricky word. 1x are good, 2x look faded, very surprising. However, 3.5x does a good job, including separating the hair from the background. 8 megapixel ultra wides are really impressive, excellent clarity and dynamic range. Then here's the 4K 30 FPS video recorded handheld. Thanks to OIS, it's quite stable. But I do miss that it lacks support for 60 FPS. Then here are some selfies taken from the front 32 megapixel sensor, and these too look pretty good. Natural skin tones and crisp. Also, portrait shots have impressive edge detection. Hi there, so here's a video recording from the front camera of the Nothing Phone 4a, and this is a full HD 30 FPS video recording. Though I would say that I would love to see 4K video recording, but still the clarity is really good. It's also quite stable. Also, the audio that you're hearing right now is being recorded from the mics of this phone. So the cameras on the 4a are above average, but I don't see a drastic upgrade from the Nothing Phone 3a. There's no 4K 60 FPS video recording support on the rear camera. There's no 4K front video recording. But would I call it a deal breaker? Well, hear me out. Cameras aren't always about numbers. It's about the experience, and they do far better than expected for a phone in its segment. Alright, let's talk about the display. So we get a 6.67 inch LTPS AMOLED display with a full HD resolution. The color reproduction is brilliant, punchy, vibrant and looks super crisp. The bezels are definitely not the thinnest, but it's good to see equal on all the four sides. The front glass comes with Gorilla Glass 7 eye protection, so it's pretty safe. We get an in-display fingerprint scanner that's very responsive and works flawlessly. My only wish was placed a tad higher. Now I'm actually done ranting about this. I've also seen not many people actually complain about it because they eventually get used to it. When it comes to the brightness, Nothing claims 4500 nits of peak brightness, and we briefly tested it outdoors as well. You can see the display is really bright and clear even under the sun. On the top is a punch hole notch housing a 32 megapixel front selfie camera. Now watching movies and videos is good fun on this big display. We also tested the Netflix app. Content looks bright and vivid. Very impressive. Then we also tested the YouTube app. Good to see HDR support and 4K 60 FPS videos play without any lag or stuttering. It's a delight to watch HDR content on this display. When it comes to the audio, we get dual stereo speakers, one at the bottom and the earpiece on the top doubles as a top firing speaker. Time for a quick demo. Wow, I actually didn't expect it to sound that good. The audio fidelity is really nice, it's loud, it's also very clear. Also thanks to dual stereo speakers, watching action movies is so much more immersive. I'm sure you're gonna love it too.
Dangerous planet.
Alright, let's talk about my favorite part of the Nothing phone, the OS and the user experience. So we get the all-new Nothing OS 4.1, which is an absolute delight. It's smooth and extremely well optimized. Also yes, 120Hz refresh rate provides a much needed smoothness to the interface. It really flows. Diving in deeper into the settings, and it's built over Android 16. Nothing promises 3 years of Android updates and 6 years of security patches. There is absolutely no bloatware app, and it provides a very clean experience. I'm also a fan of this monochrome icons. It feels so seamless. However, if you aren't, you can switch it to the regular mode from here. The UI feels super fluid. Truly an experience like no one offers in the market. So let's talk about the Glyph interface. So it's at the back, and trust me, it grabs a lot of attention, especially when you're among friends. I like that it's minimalistic and subtle, kind of mimics a 90s equalizer bar. There is a long list of things that it can be helpful for. You can use it as a timer, volume indicator, music visualization, and so much more. Gimmick or actually fun depends on how you use it. If you don't wanna, you can toggle it off from the control center. Also, for those who think that will it impact my battery, but frankly, I didn't see any significant impact on the battery. Let's talk about the performance. So it's powered by the Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 chipset. It's a slight upgrade from the previous 3A. The experience frankly is better than expected. Handles all your day-to-day tasks like a hero. The variant we have came with 12GB LPDDR4X RAM with 8GB RAM booster feature, giving you a total of 20GB RAM on board. Then we get 256GB storage with storage type UFS 3.1. Glad to see a slight upgrade from the previous UFS 2.2. Alright, let's talk about gaming. So we played everyone's favorite BGMI, and it was actually a gaming delight. By the way, make sure you turn on game mode from the quick tab. Now in the graphics settings, we got Super Smooth and Extreme Plus, which translates to 120 FPS. Trust me, it was super smooth. Even while playing for hours, we didn't notice any drop frames or lag. Not exactly a gaming phone, but it handled gaming like a pro. Absolutely loved it. Precise and fun. If you love gaming, the Nothing Phone 4A is very dependable. Alright, let's talk about the battery. So we get a 5400 mAh battery, which is a slight jump from the 5000 mAh we got on the 3A. I mean, it's good, but nowadays 6000 and 7000 are a norm. The phone, however, did last me a full day without any hiccups. It supports 50 watt fast charging, which takes little over an hour to fully charge. But keep in mind, there's no charger included in the box, so that's something you'll have to buy separately in case you don't have one lying around at home. Alright, final thoughts. So, the Nothing Phone 4A gets a lot of things right. It comes with that familiar design, a new glyph light, reliable performance, and one of the best user experience of Android, hands down. If you have the 3A, you can actually skip this one. But if you're looking to buy a good mid-range Android smartphone, you can definitely consider the Nothing Phone 4A. It starts at $31,999 for the base variant. It's a slight increase in price compared to the 3A, considering RAM prices have shot up drastically. There are a couple of cashbacks and exchange offers available, which you must check out. As mentioned earlier, there are 4 colors available. I'll share the links of all below in the description. If you'd like to buy one, you should definitely check this one out. So I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, cheers.